me see if this is as fast as the... Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be going over the all-new Kia Niro plug-in hybrid. Before we get into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Jerry Santa Kia here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Niro. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Patrick. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder paired to a 6-speed dual clutch automatic transmission and a hybrid system. Total system output is 180 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy on just gas power is 48 miles per gallon. The MPGe rating is 108. You're able to drive 34 miles on full electric power because this has a 11.1 kilowatt hour battery pack. Man, that was a mouthful. Before we go over the front end, I do want to mention if you need to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. First off, with the hood design, it's actually pretty simplistic overall. The biggest thing is you've got the new style Kia logo there, front and center. And then coming down below, you guys can see we got the funky looking daytime running lights with the LED headlamps, and then we got the fog lights as well. I do like this little trim piece that goes all the way across. I think that's pretty cool. And you know what, as funky as this looks, I do think the new Niro looks pretty good. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 225/45/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the design on the wheels with the silver there on the top and the black below it. I think they actually look pretty good. And here is your charging port because again, plug-in hybrid life. And then here's our full side view on this Niro. I like how most of it's blacked out, but you do have some accenting from the wheels and then that trim piece there at the top. And then also look at the little turn signal indicator there on the mirror and then also the accenting on the door handles. It all comes together. So here's our key fob. We got the remote start there on the front with the Kia logo. You have the lock function, the unlock, and then the opening here for the trunk. And well, boom. When it comes to storage space here in the back of the Niro, it's actually pretty solid despite the fact that this is a pretty small sized crossover hatchback lifted thing, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, if I muscle this up, you guys can see what's underneath. When you are done with the rear hatch, just press that and, well, it'll lower back down. Now we've got the Niro's new signature taillights here, which are very unique. You have the pass-through that's actually hollow. It's hard to see on camera, but believe me, it's there. PHEV badge, and then, look at that, for the turn signal indicator. The mirror also kind of has the little illumination too. Anyways, parking sensors there on the rest of the back, and then you got all the rest of your badging. And then I want you guys to let me know what you think about the overall styling here on the new Niro, if you like it, if you hate it, or if you just don't really care. Here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see the padding down below. Heated seat here for the rear passenger. Got your window control, and then I love that for the door handle. And then here are the seats. They're pretty funky looking. I do love the center portion, how it's all perforated. And then this trim here on the side, definitely interesting as well, but there you go. Pretty decent legroom here in the back. Got a little storage pocket here. Got some vents. Got a USB as well. And then headroom's also pretty good. And then I, of course, have a cup holder armrest. With the front door panel, you still have that padding here on the armrest. Got all of our window controls here. The mirrors do power fold in. You have memory seats, blind spot monitoring for the mirror, and then Harbin Kardon sound system, and then this like big piece of piano black trim. And then here is the front seat. Really nice padding, again, perforated there in the center portion. And then the driver's seat is power adjustable. We've got our pedal layout down below. The steering wheel is manually adjustable. And then we've got some controls here. Main thing is your hatch opening, your opening for the gas cap, and then stability control as well. Let's pop in. Now I couldn't find anything on this off button with the plug and the clock. I'm guessing this has to do with the charging setup to turn something with that off. Let me know in the comment section below. With the steering wheel, we've got really nice padding all around. You got the stitching in the center, and then you guys can see with the silver trim at the bottom, new style Kia logo. And then we do have paddle shifters here on the back. We do have adaptive cruise control with steering assist, voice command controls, volume controls, and then our drive mode select. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock. Pretty cool looking digital gauge cluster here in the center. You guys can see I can scroll through different bits of info on the vehicle, pretty standard stuff. But fun thing is the drive mode select. You basically have an eco and a sport mode, and that's it. And it changes how it looks, and you guys can now hear the engines on. We do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, parking sensors front and rear, and you can even change the camera view. As for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is fantastic. It's easy to use. And we have our PHEV tab, which will let us know everything that is happening. So right now we have 14 miles of range, and well, it can show you that battery's getting charged right now. Pretty cool. Giant hazard light button, my goodness. And then we have the multi-function control. So right now it's set for like the radio, stuff for like the navigation, everything. So it's like on the radio tab, and then you press that little fan button, and now it controls the climate side of things, dual zone climate system. So pretty cool. We got some charging ports down below, and then a wireless phone charging pad. And then this is to turn the car on or off. You've got heated and cooled seats here for the front. We have our transmission selector there in the center. That's just for the camera to pop that on. And then we do have an EV mode that you can press, and then it'll pop it into EV mode if you have enough charge. We have the funky pop-out cup holders that just killed that other Niro key. Anyways, center console, pretty normal. Got some nice padding and stitching on it. Look at the ambient lighting there on the dash. I think that's pretty nifty. And then pretty normal glove box. And I do like the material used here on the dash. It looks nice. So up top here, we've got controls for the sunroof, and then just a lighter colored headliner. So here's our window sticker. This is the SX Touring, as you can see, and it'll give you a bunch of information on the vehicle, including the warranty. 10-year, 100,000 mile on the powertrain and on the battery, and then 5-year, 60,000 mile on the basic. Base MSRP $39,490, and then you can see all the features this has, and then the optional equipment. Total MSRP on this one, $42,410, and then here's the ratings we went over earlier. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. So here's visibility of the hood. Both of the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are setting off here in full EV mode. And this is what I love about plug-in hybrids is, again, the dual practicality. You can just, drive with only using electricity. Now, obviously the range is not crazy with plug-in hybrids yet, but I could see us having plug-in hybrids with 60, 70 miles of range in the very near future, which for most people is more than enough. Now, I'm wondering if these paddle shifters are just for, because I'm pressing them and nothing's happening. Oh, so the paddle shifters, okay, I feel stupid, are for when you're in electric mode. It actually is for the electric system. So notice it says electric mode when I press minus, when I press or hold minus. So it's actually doing regen braking. That's so funky. So yeah, this functions just like the fully electric Niro. So again, I'll hold down the minus paddle and it'll do, yeah, it'll do the regen for me. That is pretty cool. That's a nice feature. So you can basically do one pedal driving with the plug-in hybrid. That's nice, because then you're going to be able to conserve more of your battery. That is a cool thing to have. Really smooth as well. And this is more than enough power, like for this type of driving. And if I get into it a little bit more, it's not crazy quick. Not nearly as quick as that Niro EV that I just drove. But, obviously this is a much smaller setup. But it's still like, oh, the engine turned on there. So, yeah, if you go into the throttle a little bit too far, the engine will turn on. Okay, we're going to pop into the sport mode. So the engine should be on. I'm going to see if this is as fast as the... I mean, the power figures suggest that this shouldn't be too much slower than the EV, but like, you don't get nearly as much instant torque and power as the EV. Also, my feet are purple. The ambient lighting is in the footwell too. I'm like, why are my shoes purple? So yeah, it's not as quick as the EV, but it's not far behind, to be honest. Okay, I'm gonna pop back in the eco mode. Yeah, I really like this, actually. I think that this is the Niro to get, because the hybrid was kind of underwhelming. Just not enough power. And I mean, I feel like traditional hybrids are kind of boring at this point. I know it sounds weird, but like, for me at least, okay, I'm someone who doesn't own an EV, and I don't own a hybrid. I review them though. And the thing that would push me to purchase an EV or a hybrid is, on the hybrid side of things, well, having a plug-in hybrid so that I can, just... So something that would push me to buy a hybrid is, well, having a plug-in hybrid so that I could charge at home and basically do smaller commutes without using any gas. And so if it's not a plug-in hybrid, I'm not interested. And then on the EV side of things, they need to have like a bajillion miles of range, because like if I can't just go and like with this, I could at least just go to the gas station and fill up with gas if I run out. Whereas like charging, I mean, I have an EV this week as my tester, and I have to charge every single time I stop at a dealership, because like that's just what you do with EVs. You always have to charge all the time. So yeah, I think plug-in hybrids are definitely a sweet spot, and I think this is the sweet spot for the Niro, is this plug-in hybrid, because you've got solid driving range, fully electric. It gets great fuel economy even if you're not using the electric side of things. Like this thing's crazy. I love this thing. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this plug-in hybrid Niro. Again, a huge shout out, thanks to the Jerry Santa Kia here in Salt Lake City, Utah, for giving me some time with this Niro. Check out the Tron in the description down below. As for Patrick, if you have any questions, I'll see ya.